So today I want to introduce you to one of my favorite math puzzles. And it's one of my favorites because it's completely simple to state the puzzle. It's completely trivial to solve the puzzle, and yet still it can stump even accomplished mathematicians for a while they think about how to solve it. So here's the puzzle. Imagine I have a blackboard, which I do right here, and what I get to do is I get to color this blackboard with chalk in any way that I want. I can color some sections of it, I can leave some sections black, and I get to do whatever pattern I want. And the question is it possible for me to color the whole blackboard in such a way that any 2 points that are exactly 10 centimeters apart, so this is about 10 centimeters, any 2 points that are 10 centimeters apart are different colors, right? The two possible colors here are white from the chalk or black from the blackboard. So the question is, can I color the board so that any 2 points exactly 10 centimeters apart are opposite colors? So I would invite you to play around with this for a while. And if you haven't heard it before, take a piece of paper, do some sketches, try to play around with it for a while, right? The kind of thing that people might start by doing is thinking about, like, well, what if I do sort of strips, alternating black and white strips, right? And then people get worried that that's not going to work, so maybe I need to, make some gaps in the strips or something like this, and you can try to figure out what exactly your strategy is here. But I want you to play around with this for a while and see, can you come up with a pattern, any pattern whatsoever? It can be random, it can be organized, that colors a piece of paper or the blackboard or whatever in such a way that any 2 points that are exactly 10 centimeters apart are opposite colors. Can you do that? Okay? I'm going to answer that question in this video, so if you don't want to hear the answer, then pause or now and come back later once you've given it a try. Okay, so what's the answer? Well, there's a very quick path to the answer, and there's a slightly longer path to the answer. And if you're like me, you take the slightly longer path, and then from that path you can figure out the quick way. So here's the slightly longer path. Let's look at a single point on the blackboard. I can't draw a single actual point, but I'll just draw what I can so that you can see it. Here, this represents a single point on the blackboard. Suppose that this point is some color, I don't really care, white or black, let's say it's white. Okay? Now, if I'm trying to arrange it so that any 2 points that are 10 centimeters apart are opposite colors, that means that in the circle that I draw around this point, that's my best attempt to draw a circle, sorry, which is of radius 10 centimeters, every point on this circle has to be black, because the center point is white, and I'm trying to arrange it so that any 2 points that are exactly 10 centimeters apart are opposite colors. Okay, so if this point is white, then every point on this circle has to be black. Okay, so in particular, let me take a single point on this circle, like for example, this point. Right, so if this point here is white, then this point here has to be black. But if this point is black, then by the same reasoning, if I draw a circle around it, every point on this second circle that I drew has to be opposite color to the center point, which means every point on the second circle that I drew has to be white. Now I have a problem because these circles intersect. They intersect here and here. So what color should this point be? It's 10 centimeters away from a white point, which means that it should be black, but it's also 10 centimeters away from a black point, which means that it should be white. So this is a proof that actually it's impossible. No matter how clever you are with your patterns, it's just impossible to color the board so that any 2 points that are exactly 10 centimeters apart are opposite colors. Now I said this was the complicated way to the solution, and maybe the most intuitive way, but if you look at this picture that I've drawn here, the simpler path to the solution is not to bother with circles, but just to draw a triangle, an equilateral triangle, make it look more like an equilateral triangle, which is 10 centimeters by 10 centimeters by 10 centimeters. Okay, now this triangle is essentially identifying these 3 points, and the question is, suppose I could do this. Then each of these 3 points would have to get a color, black or white. But there's no way of coloring these 3 points so that you don't violate this prohibition. If this one is black, then these 2 have to be white. But if these 2 are white, then they're 10 centimeters apart. If this one is white, then these 2, because they're both 10 centimeters away from it, have to be black. But now I have 2 black points, which are 10 centimeters apart. So the triangle is the proof that you can't do this.